Hello, ladies, and happy Wellness Wednesday. 'Tis I, Aubrey Warwick. Welcome to my Empowered Fitness Coaching Group, where every Wednesday I go live at about this time to talk about things in my repertoire, in my toolbox, what I've acquired over the decades in hopes that it might spawn just one little light bulb moment for you to take a massive action step to your fitness, nutrition, or health. All right, so let's get started. For those of you who are new here, thank you for accepting an invitation to the group or asking to join. My name is Aubrey Warwick. I am a transformation coach. What that means is I help women change their behaviors so that they can get massive results physically, mentally, emotionally, and that is all done through my online coaching program called Envision. All right. You'll get to know me a little bit more when I'm offering a free fitness and nutrition coaching series called The Perfect 10. You might have done it before, or you've seen me wear some t-shirts called Perfect 10. It is a free program I offer. It's a 10-day program. No, you don't have to be perfect, but it's like get you in, right? When I say Perfect 10, wait, what's that? Okay. I'm also a TV fitness expert, as well as the owner of Fitness Envy, which is a pole dancing studio in the heart of downtown Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Today's talk, I want to first frame it, is called The Advice I Needed Back in the Day When I Just Couldn't Change My Physical Shape. And I said that because I don't want to push you away if you are not trying to lose weight, because sometimes I was going to say the advice I needed when I couldn't lose weight, right? But you might want to gain weight. All right. Either way, we want to change our physical shape, our physical appearance. And the subtitle of this talk is why calories in versus calories out, that equation doesn't work the way we think. This is really a common question. So number one, most people I talk to who want to change their physical shape, their appearance, lose weight, they download an app. Maybe it's a free app. Maybe it's an app like MyFitnessPal. Maybe it's Lose It, Fat Secret, Nutrition X, whatever app you've used. Maybe it's your Fitbit. What happens is there is a generic equation that is plugged in to those apps. It's called the Harris-Benedict formula. There is another one that might be used, but it's a point of reference. And it's used to help kind of guide the user as a form of education. So it's not bad, right? All these things aren't bad, but I want to explain this to you. So these different apps or devices, they have a generic equation in it. It takes into consideration your height, your weight, and your age. All right. And by the way, your activity level, which is self-reported and sometimes inaccurate. All right. Just like our food logs, they could be inaccurate too, but whatever, we're doing our best that we can. All right, so I want to talk about part one, and I have some notes here. Part one, why calories in versus calories out is oversimplified. So the first law of thermodynamics, what it states is energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms. In a closed system like a lab, it makes sense. But, and here's a big but, I know we like big buts, we cannot lie. The human body isn't a bomb calorie meter, right? It's a living adaptive system. So why it doesn't work for calorie counting, we got to consider digestion, and the nutrient absorption varies from person to person. Number one. Number two. Gut bacteria, food quality, cooking methods, and even stress can affect how many calories are actually used. Interesting. I've also found that people who have more fat mass versus muscle mass, they're going to utilize calories much differently. So I want to throw that in there. So apps like MyFitnessPal, they're using these generic equations, and it gives us a point of reference, but then it also confuses us. So now let's talk about the three different body types. And this helps us kind of get some clarity around where we are and how to close the gap. All right, the 3 different body types. If you know these, you can drop some pieces of fruit in the thread here, if you know what I'm talking about. So number 1 is an ectomorph. Like an ectoskeleton, that's what I think of. The traits of this person is lean, often very slender, fast metabolism, hard to gain weight or muscle, and may require more calories to gain mass. When I look at ectomorphs, okay, people who've been thin their whole life, and we think, wow, they can, quote unquote, eat whatever they want. When I actually look at their diet, they're not eating a lot. They're not very stimulated by a lot of food. So it might appear they're eating whatever they want because you're observing them in public, like out at a restaurant. Wow, they're eating pizza. That might have been the only thing they ate all day. Those are our ectomorphs. Anybody out there who's an ectomorph? All right, the mesomorph. This is a naturally muscular and athletic individual, probably played sports his or her life from a very young age to develop a good muscle base over the years. They gain muscle easily because of how they were primed as a young human being. They can respond well to moderate calories, okay? I started exercising at the age of 14. I was always in dance, but I didn't do any strength training or anything like that until about the age of 14. I wasn't lifting heavy weights. It was more like group fitness and little calisthenic weights. So I would kind of put myself into a category of a little bit more mesomorph when I started out on my journey. Endomorph is a person who is softer and stores fat easily. Perhaps this is the person who had parents that had a higher body fat, and genetically this person is going to be born with more fat cells. Okay. They struggle with fat loss, and they can feel starved even at moderate calories. And the reason for that with an endomorph, because their fat cells want to survive. So it is very challenging for this individual to move the needle and close the gap. So the advice that I needed, because I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't say that I was ever an endomorph. Maybe I mentally felt like that. There was a time in my life now that I definitely don't have this now. I don't think I was ever an ectomorph. I've always been really present or aware of my food stories as well as my relationship with food. So I've danced with mesomorph and endomorph from the standpoint of when I really struggled with losing fat and changing my shape. So what helped me, and it's a very long story short, is number 1, asking for help. The advice that I needed was like, hey, Warwick, you can't do this without help of an expert, without help of someone who's done it before. And really, it wasn't until I got someone to coach me back when I was 25 years old that I started to change my shape, my relationship with food, to understand what I was doing or not doing with my body. Because back in my 20s, when MyFitnessPal came out, it wasn't an app. It was awesome. I was so excited to use it. It was just available on the interweb. And I was so confused. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm burning so many calories. I'm working out so hard and I'm starving. I'm eating, I think at the time, it was 1,200 to 1,500 calories. And I'm like dying. I could barely lose a pound. So one would argue it was wait a minute, my exercise modalities were probably off. My relationship with food, mental health was probably off. Not probably, it was. And I just became so wrapped up and obsessed with these numbers. I mean, it was ridiculous. Where I was like, this should be working. And what I realized was guess what, Aubrey? It's not going to work that way. Now, why do we still use apps like these? And why do we still put value to even counting calories? Because it is one reference point. We have to look at all the data. It was helpful for me to just be honest to say, you know what? I really want to eat 2,000 calories a day. And as I started to build my calories up that were good quality calories, because I was afraid of certain foods. I was afraid of certain foods because I thought they would make me the F word, fat. And once I started to let go of these old food stories and try to be like, all right, this is what the human being, this is what my earth suit needs right now, to see how I could change my shape. Now, I also had to take into consideration other factors. I was also on hormonal birth control. My gut health was destroyed because of bulimia. I would have loved to have had the probiotic choices that we have now back in my 20s. I think I could have healed my gut-brain connection a lot faster. Hindsight is always 20/20. And I definitely was over-exercising, running a lot, which I hated. I just thought like I had to burn more calories. And I really wish that I would have leaned into understanding what strength training does for our bodies, instead of thinking I have to stress out my central nervous system with all these other types of modalities. So, the strength training, healing my gut with good probiotics, not fearing food, getting that help and that accountability from an expert was really, really helpful. Now, let's go back to the last part of this little chat. All right, personalized solutions and the mindset shift. Stop obsessing about the numbers alone. Use them as, I say, I like this quote, I love numbers and numbers love me. Say, okay, these are the numbers. We have some data here. Focus on biofeedback, your sleep, your energy, your mood, strength, and digestion. That is helpful. For this last show prep that I did, I was extremely exhausted. And my goal right now is like, okay, what is the food that my body needs right now to feel energized and to sleep well? And whatever that amount is, because I'm telling you what, I've put in my years of eating like an asshole. And I'm not saying that those moments don't ever exist, but they're fewer and far between now because I've had a lot of practice at acknowledging what my body desires instead of what this monkey mind is plaguing me with. So I've gotten better with that and focusing on, okay, is that going to make me feel good on the inside so that it has helped me with my food choices? And my goal is to say, all right, if I am honestly hungry and this is what I need, then I'm going to eat it. I'm going to track it right now to see where my calories, my macronutrients are. And you know what? If my body needed 2,000 good quality calories that day, I'm going to sit with that and look at it instead of saying, well, that app told me I should only be having 1,500 calories if I want to have my goal weight. All right. We're all at different places. And honestly, I'm here to help you guys take the elevator, not the stairs, but you still have to take some type of means, some type of journey, your own hero's journey to get to your most desired outcome. There still has to be a part of your journey that you're going to struggle, because that's how we learn. It is what it is. Okay. All right. Now, other things. Prioritize the macronutrient balance. 1,500 calories of sugar does not equal 1,500 calories of protein, fiber, and fats. For most of us, the protein is too low, not just women. I mean, I see it with men. My husband just was aware of that with his diet. He's doing a little protein experiment himself. Tracking your progress with multiple metrics. Body measurements, how our clothes fit, progress pictures, strength in the gym. The scale can lie when you are building lean muscle mass. That is true. But we can also lie to ourselves. So I know for myself, there was when people tell me, yeah, but Aubrey, you're gaining muscle mass. Now, when I had a higher body fat, yeah, maybe, but I was also really broken with my relationship with food, and I had fat mass, and I knew that. No one needed to, I have two eyes that work, and it was like, yeah, but there's a big but again. I still want to change my shape. Okay, something's off. And guys, let's listen. It's not just like this whole physical thing, what we see in the mirror. It's how you feel. If you do not feel good in the shape that you're in, that's what causes all this stuff that we want a transformation. There's no judgment there, right? Some people feel really comfortable living in an apartment living. Some people feel really comfortable living in a mansion, right? Where do you feel good living at? Some people like to live on an island. Some people like to live in Nome, Alaska. Where do you want to live? Work with your body type. My body type was not designed to be a runner. And in my 20s, I thought running was the only way to lose weight because it worked at first. When I first became, I would say, the label of anorexic, I ran a ton. And to the point where I broke my body down so much, I was so exhausted, under 100 pounds, I couldn't keep up with it. And I went the complete polar opposite way. So because I, was fighting against my body type. Let's say this. God did not make me a runner. God did not intend for me to be a ballerina. When I was a little girl, I was obsessed with this. It was a record, and this really beautiful cartoon character on the record was called Tina the Ballerina. And she was from the town of Gay Paris, right, of Happy Paris. And I would listen to this record and I would dance around my room and just see myself as Tina the Ballerina. And dance has been an extremely amazing and powerful force in my life. It has been a form of therapy, and it has also enabled me to pick myself apart. So because I wanted to be a ballerina so bad, I took dance classes and I looked in the mirror a lot. But as I grew up, I'm 5'4", your average American girl. I wasn't built like an ectomorph. And so when I went to college and I would take ballet classes, when I learned how to lose weight through running, that only worked temporarily, I suddenly got better grades in ballet. I didn't have the bubble butt, the belly. I was just a skeleton. And it was really hard for me to keep that shape. I was fighting against my shape. But I thought, wow, I'm incentivized, because suddenly my technique was the same. But because I didn't have these round little balls of meat on different lumps, lady lumps, I looked better as Aubrey the ballerina. Very interesting. So if you are fighting against your body type, it's not going to last. We want to work with our body type. Have some self-acceptance. Every morning when you wake up, do what I do. Hand on heart, say good morning, beautiful. I love you. That was really the advice that I needed to be a huge catalyst to change my shape into what you see today. And I'm really, really proud of it. All right, gang, if this was beneficial with you, drop a heart emoji in the chat. I feel good about this. But we want to wrap it up. We have, after the 4th of July, the Perfect 10 free coaching challenge coming up in this group. Whether you've done it or not, join me in July. It will be a great time of the year to connect with you again. Or if you're ready already and you want to book a free discovery call, never hesitate to hit me up in the DMs and we can chat through FaceTime to see if the Envision program is right for you. Ciao for now. Thanks, gang.